Sorry, gang. I'm just getting organized here. Gotta take a couple drinks. All right. Nope. We gotta turn down the music. Well, hello and welcome to Raider HQ After Dark. I'm your host, Raider, starting 15 minutes-ish early, like always. How is everyone tonight? In my never-ending quest to feel like crap, I feel like crap. So, let me see here. Well, you know the drill. It's a live stream. Yep, and I am rocking out. I kind of have that typically going. I'm sorry you're sick, October 25. I'm sick too, but it's like a state of being for me. I've got a stomach bug, and poor Luna, man, she is just wiped out from doing nothing all day. I have never seen a more tired breed of dog than a Great Dane. She's very, very tired. Jason, he's sitting here next to me. Come on. I can't take all the limelight from him. He's got to do his thing. He's got to get popular. You can't ride on my coattails. You know how it is. Come on, get to the chopper. But yeah, guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about VA disability VASRD changes. The exciting stuff, unfortunately. Oh, I know. Fighting the flu is horrible. So it's not really that sensational of a topic because I'm going to start off this conversation by saying, look, we don't know what is going to be finalized for tinnitus, sleep apnea, and mental health. And oh my gosh, Luna, she's just over here snoring. Yes, wake up, please. So we don't know exactly what the changes are going to be. We know what they've proposed, but we don't know what specifically they're going to be implementing, and we don't know when. So with my video that I put out earlier today, I kind of talked about the evidence and kind of structuring your evidence and what needs to happen. All right. And I think that's the safer bet. We don't need to dive into anxiety. We just need to understand this is the new process. I do find it a little concerning that we're starting to ratchet down on key disabilities that are used for most veterans to get to 100%. So I don't necessarily care for that. Hey, Sean, how's it going? So, yeah, whenever I'm talking about this stuff, I know that the other live stream yesterday was a little bit scary, but that one came out of nowhere. Like the acute and transitory changes appear to be falling in lockstep with this genuine approach towards ratcheting back the ability to get certain rating decisions that are needed to get to 100%. Yes, GC Jarhead, every 10% does help. However, they lose their value as the higher you get. So, pardon me. But yeah, so kind of where, oh, there you go. Okay. My chat wasn't updating. In my negative center of the universe mindset, you are aware that none of my comments last night about frustration were directed at you, right? Yeah. No. And that's the thing, guys. If we don't talk about this and we don't get ahead of it and just come to terms with it, you know how they say, like, build a bridge and get over it type thing. We need to build that bridge, get over it, and we need to kind of address the changes and just positively organize in such a way that, okay, this is how I do claims from now on. This is how I do my claims. 6 months worth of treatment evidence and lay statements corroborating themselves. is how we're going to do this. um, uh, da- da- uh, Look, MCM, at this point in time, we're not going to please anybody because people are just going to be freaked out. You know, oftentimes people have negative opinions about change, let alone change that's not good towards them, that is directed negatively at an entire demographic of people. It is hard for that, and that energy has to go somewhere. So I typically take the brunt of it. You know, Raiders take the brunt of it all the time, even when it's not deserving of them. So I get it. Oh, disrobed. You're killing me. Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the 90 plus 10, but there's more than that, Bob, in that the higher value you have, like the way that you calculate the percentages, if you have a 70 and a 10 and you have two 40s, those do not mathematically add up to the same amount because the 70% drags the 10% value up. So you'll get bonus points for having a higher percent as your highest percent than you would for like 10 tens or something like that. Oh, man, my back is killing me. My head is killing me. I think I've got full flu. Oh, I'm chilling. I remember that name. Da, 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 da. Okay. But yeah, so today's live stream we're just going to be talking about some stuff. I'm just going to be yakking about things because we're going to be all over the place. Now, if you haven't liked and subscribed this channel, you know, if you think I deserve it, please do so. But also, I have talked about the Salty Old Marine, the Salty Marine, and H-Town Vet. Please go give them the opportunity of watching a few of their videos and see if you like what they do, because I do. And, you know, I can't tell you what to like, but I can say that those three content creators are great and they're really not where they should be. And in my opinion, a lot of the times they should be, you know, sometimes higher than me. Like the salty old Marine gave a very good topic on aging veterans and DBQs and how the examiners can, you know, adjust your DBQ based upon your age as a factor. But it's, you know, it's completely up to you. I'll also say that Mr. Ray has once again rekindled my interest in Mr. Dwayne Kimball's channel. I like his channel. Like he is a VA Raider, retired, and he puts out good stuff. Some of it's not as detailed as my stuff, but you got to be honest, he's retired, right? Some of it's not. He doesn't have the cutting edge stuff. So there's sometimes him and I might not come to the exact same conclusion, but that's true of all raters. Not all raters, you know, rate the exact same way. So there is the opportunity for us to just maybe lightly disagree on things and it still be fine because it's still within the margin of error. So this is a very good question. So this was based upon the acute and transient. Oh gosh, I can't. Hold on. My brain is a little bit wonky tonight. The acute and transitory, that's the terminology that I'm looking for. So the acute and transitory guidance that put out that if you have a condition that's due to another situational condition and you get it, you could have gotten it granted historically, you might not be able to get it granted as of after January 14th, 2026, because the guidance instructs the rater that they have to treat it as an acute or transitory condition. And one of the requirements for granting is that it be a chronic condition. It can't be an acute or transitory. So the only way that you could work around this is to have a different medical provider say that it's not due to lactose, that it's unexplained. So that's one thing. And I will say, not to spread panic and or fear, but I'm going to probably be one of the only people talking about the acute or transitory changes and emphasizing how genuinely disturbing they are to me, right? A lot of like you'll go to the usual suspects on YouTube. They likely won't be talking about this because it's not like, well, I mean, yeah, it is panic and fear, but this is genuine stuff. So like if and I provided the example today because I was just thinking about it. People that claim sleep apnea due to GERD, because GERD is not a constant thing. You can actually have it to where, under this new guidance, sleep apnea could be considered an acute or transitory condition if it was due to GERD. So you can sit there with a positive medical opinion where the examiner says, oh, yeah, it's due to GERD. And what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is in that same sentence where it says diarrhea due to lactose intolerance is a situational thing. GERD is a situational thing. So if you're claiming a disability due to a situational thing, then your sleep apnea is not a constant disability. And I find that to be very troubling because even in situations where, let's say, the examiner doesn't make it to where let's say they agree. They just say, "Oh yeah, I think it's due to GERD. It's fine. It's perfect. We're granting." Well, the rater under this new guidance can go, "Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Before we grant, examiner, can you tell me whether or not the GERD in this scenario, whether or not the GERD is acute or transitory in nature, or whether or not like does the veteran have GERD all the time?" A rater could actually go back and challenge the examiner's perfect medical opinion that grants you and to ask them, hey, look, this is a little bit conflicting. Do they have GERD all the time? And if the examiner says no, then the rater can actually go, okay, well, I don't want a quality error. So because you say that the GERD doesn't happen every single day of the week, wouldn't that make the sleep apnea acute or transitory? And there's a lot of conditions that you can generalize this particular I don't know if you want to call thought process, but this specific thought process that I'm giving you of where they question, like, can you tell me that this condition is happening all the time? And if not, then doesn't that make the secondary condition acute or transitory? So Solaris, that right there is fine because the surgery is a chronic thing. The surgery that happened, you had a surgery that caused a disability, right? Um, that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is any time that somebody can question the consistency of a symptom and or condition. Think about like, let me see here. Let me try to think of some things here. Like I get migraines due to I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, guys. But as long as the conditions are chronic in nature, or wait, I get migraines due to sinusitis, acute sinusitis. Because the sinusitis is acute, then you can't the migraines aren't in a foundation of being a chronic disability. It's very weird. Actually, Salty, this is a very good question. Okay. because, in my personal opinion, we're in uncharted territory when it comes to questioning whether or not something is or is not a disability. Now, I meant it, guys, when I said that the acute or transitory um, denial process, denying because something is acute and or transitory, was very rare, because the examples they gave was the common cold, or a bruise. Nobody claimed anything like that, but people claim diarrhea a lot of times, right? Now, somebody dying from something that is acute and or transitory in nature, that would be a I'd have to figure out a use case scenario for that, but I mean, it is technically possible to have statistically possible to have somebody have this specific issue come up. And it would be very concerning to me. So, I guess what I want to talk about tonight is, what do we do if your condition is found to be acute and or transitory? How do you prevent that from happening? Now, I've already said in my prior videos, the new standard should be 6 months worth of treatment, 6 months worth of lay statements, 6 months worth of corroborating evidence showing that you have a true factual chronic disability. Now, if you were denied due to no disability, or due to no condition, no diagnosis, it being acute or transitory moving forward, the way that anybody's going to solve this, guys, is by gathering new evidence to show, hey, look, my fact pattern shows that this wasn't a one-time thing, right? It's not that I had one asthma attack. It's that I have a series of asthma attacks, if that's true for you. I mean, like, it could be true. It could be true, totally. Now, Mr. Snowcat, is agoraphobia transient, acute, or considered chronic? It is considered chronic in nature. And if you are going to do a higher level review for 3 different claims, should you submit all 3 at the same time? Yes, so that way you can go before the same DRO, because hopefully you get the same, you can have all 3 conditions reviewed by the same decision review officer, so you don't have somebody with absolute power, 3 different people with absolute power reviewing your claim. But the first question there, is agoraphobia acute or transient in nature? Agoraphobia is an irrational fear that something bad's going to happen. Now, oftentimes it's associated with, people that stay home. The people staying home portion of it, that's the side effect of the paranoia, of the fear. It happens all the time, so it's a chronic disability. Now, I do know that somebody else had a good question, and thank you for the donation, by the way. Somebody else had a good question about, what about adjustment disorder? Does adjustment disorder, is that going to be something that is looked at as acute or transitory? It'll probably not be. It'll be dependent on the evidence. If you have adjustment disorder because you lost your job and you get another job and the depression and the anxiety goes away, then that was a short-term acute or transient. But just because it's named adjustment disorder doesn't mean that it's a short-term disability. The name itself doesn't indicate short-term disability. Yes, and no political anything, please. Learn my lesson. So, Mr. Ray, what I mean is 38 CFR 3.317, which is the medically unexplained multi-symptom illness CFR, defines what a chronic disability requires. A chronic disability requires 6 months of complaints and or treatment in order to be deemed chronic. That's pretty much the industry standard for how do we determine what is a chronic disability. Now, the reason why I say to have 6 months worth of lay statements and medical evidence is because the medical evidence is what the examiner is going to be using to determine whether or not you have a chronic disability. You just saying you have a chronic disability does not influence them to weigh that any differently. Because in their mind, they're going to be like, wait a minute, you've had this crippling pain for 6 months, for 2 years, and you never went to the doctor over it. They do stuff like this. So you want to have 6 months worth of symptoms that corroborated by medical treatment. It doesn't have to be month after month after month, but it has to be medical treatment, um, has an issue. And H-Town Vet, no, an emergency room visit does not establish a condition as chronic in nature. That's the acute manifestation of it. If you had an ER visit and then subsequent visits afterwards, then that would solidify that it wasn't an acute condition. The ER is for acute situations. I broke my knee, I got into a car accident. Like, that's why you're going to the ER, is for something that just happened potentially. There are people that, over time they get so sick and then they go to the emergency room. But having subsequent treatment helps the examiners not be able to pigeonhole your disability into the acute or transient category. If someone had a denial with favorable findings prior to the changes, is the favorable finding for a diagnosis conceded, or will it be reevaluated on a supplemental claim / higher level review? If you're talking about the changes for tinnitus and sleep apnea and mental health, best practice is you need to have treatment within the last year. So a favorable finding is not binding in terms of satisfying element 1. So it would be best practice, honestly, to have current treatment for your condition to show that it's a chronic condition. Because yes, you could have been diagnosed with something, but that diagnosis does not indicate whether or not the condition is acute or transient in nature. So please, when you're filing claims from this day forward, make sure that you have, within the last year, at least 5 months worth, like 5 to 6 months worth of treatment and reported complaints, statements showing what it is. And this obviously has to be true. What's fucked up? What's Doc Shelley doing? What's the question? I don't understand. Hmm. Okay. I don't know what the question is, but currently 50% for major depressive disorder. I'm securing a private DBQ on a supplemental claim. Decision letter in January 2025. Intent to file submitted April 2025. Will the upcoming changes to the CFR impact my claim? If what you're going for is major depressive disorder, then no, you'll likely be on the old historical scheduler. So just make sure. Okay. Just make sure that you cite your evidence and whatnot. Mental health is a little bit different. Like, I know I've done a video on this. It was one of the first videos I ever did, was I kind of talked about my opinion about the mental health changes. We don't know what it is that the final product will be for mental health, but I'll tell you what, if they keep the same stuff in there that they had proposed to put in for mental health, and then this is just my opinion, I personally like the changes to mental health more than the current rating scheduler. And I also dislike it. I think that people like myself who have mental health issues but are very articulate will be able to get a much higher rating with the same evidence compared to a person that is not very articulate and not very open with discussing their symptoms. that individual will get a much lower rating. So I think the changes coming up uh, help the people that are kind of post therapy, post treatment, but they hinder the ability because it's all about subjective statements. It's all about how does your particular mental health condition affect your particular lifestyle, basically, in all your spheres of your life. Well, if you're not very oriented to how your condition, if you're in pre contemplation that there's even a problem, how are you going to answer that effectively? But if you're post treatment, like let's say you're post treatment, you come to terms with it and you're fully understanding your stuff and you're able to articulate that stuff, you're able to get 100% a hell of a lot easier than other people. A hell of a lot easier. Like the amount of people that are going to get the 100% for mental health, it's going to skyrocket. But it will also disenfranchise the individuals that are the sickest among us that might, not be 100% honest whenever they go to the CMP exam. So, which some people will claim that the new changes to mental health will allow people who are malingering to potentially do it harder and get higher ratings, but I don't know about that. What range? Okay. Is left chronic quad tendon rupture secondary to lumbosacral spine with radiculopathy L4, L5 compression nerve root because of the weakness and falls result in a quad tendon rupture? Can I service connect for it? Okay, that's a lot, Eric. If you had evidence, like I have granted musculoskeletal conditions are very rare, by the way. I've granted musculoskeletal conditions due to falls beforehand. There is no direct link to neurologically, there's no direct link between muscle tendon rupture, quad tendon rupture, and the lumbar spine and radiculopathy. There's no real connection there. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm going off of everything I've ever rated. But I have seen it to where people have fallen and hurt muscles, ruptured tendons because their leg got into a position that was very abnormal. So, I mean, it's possible, but you have to have the right fact pattern. So, if not, then you're going to have to science the hell out of that. Okay. You're going to have studies, you're going to have doctors that support that fact pattern. If not, it's going to be very challenging. Okay. And then, oh my gosh. Da, 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 da. Yes. 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 Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the donation. Okay. Yes, and this is important, guys. So when we're talking about the changes that are coming down the pipe for tinnitus, sleep apnea, and mental health, chronic disabilities matter. Okay, so also I spoke on the video today about supplemental claims, and I know that a lot of you didn't understand that, to be quite honest with you, and I get that. But the fact remains, your intent to file will fucking not. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It will fucking not hold your place in the historical criteria. Sorry to swear. We're after hours. It's 6:15 now. Put the kids to bed. I don't know. But I need for you guys to understand this, okay? Is that the intent to file will not hold you in the historical criteria. The intent to file only does that for liberalizing law. This is not a liberalizing law. This is just a VASRD scheduler change. So what'll happen is, let's say you do an intent to file back to January 17th, and they make the changes in June, but you don't meet criteria. You either filed your claim after the change date or your diagnosis was well after the change date. The diagnosis is a little weird because as long as it actually no, this does match up. So like let's say the claim happens after the claim is submitted after the change date, which means that the diagnosis is associated with a claim that was submitted after the change date. What that means is you didn't meet criteria to be counted under the historical rating scheduler. We'll back pay you, which what happens when this happens, we'll back pay you at the rate of the historical scheduler until the change occurs. Then you'll flip over to the new scheduler and then whatever that is. So if you had sleep apnea, you'd get paid at 50% up until the change. And then once the change happened, you'd go down to zero. That's how that works. So guys, I need you to tell anybody that will listen to you about the intent to file not covering tinnitus, not covering sleep apnea, and not covering mental health under the I want the historical criteria. Now, if you should file your claim before the changes happen, that's 50% of the battle. The other half of that 50% is you have to have a diagnosis that either exists before the changes happen or was diagnosed during the claim that was filed before the changes happened. I need you guys to understand that. Can I get a yes in the chat if you guys understood what I just said? Claim before the changes happen, good for the historical rating. Diagnosis before the changes happen, good for historical rating. If you're missing either one of those, they are a no-go. This is you will be pissed off. And you'll do your higher level review, and guess what? They will not honor it. And then you will go technically to the BVA. And let me tell you, you might think that the BVA will honor this. However, the BVA will pull up 38 CFR 3.2501, which is the date the entitlement arose for non-liberalizing law changes. And unfortunately, you won't meet criteria because you had to meet the historical criteria before the change happened. Okay? And that's fine, Jason. It's okay. Because as we get closer to this, I mean, it's just, if we want to keep it simple, file your claims beforehand, have enough evidence to make sure that you have a diagnosis beforehand, and just do those two things, and you should be fine. Okay? And yes, Mr. Ray, this is jacked up, but we're going through this. Okay? Because here's what my fear is. And I had somebody talk to me about this. And they said, because I know them personally, they're like, don't you think that this is going to help the bad actors out there? Like, why are you telling people? Because this will help the bad actors. And I'm like, look, I'd rather have the good people, the good veterans, get ahead of this beforehand, have all the information, and if the bad actors hear it, then I don't care. Because the mission is to get the information out there so that way everybody has access to it. And if some bad actors act upon this and they become better at being bad actors, then that's the price of doing business, I guess. Because I really don't care for, well, I've got a frustration level with a couple of things. Let me scroll down here. So, what constitutes an increase versus continuous pursuit? I just got rated for a back at 40% after higher level review was at 20, but they put an effective date from January 6, 2026 instead of the original date of 12 December 2022. So on this one, this falls in line with that 38 CFR 3.2501. Continuously pursued means you had to file a supplemental claim within 1 year of the prior rating decision. And you had to keep doing that back to the original rating decision. Now, there are different camps that believe that that can change, but there are certain QRT camps that believe that if you break that chain, then you stay within the current rating scheduler. Why am I saying that? Within the current claim, there's also the issue of the date the entitlement arose. If the evidence, well, it says a higher level review went back in time. So, I mean, if your evidence didn't show true before January 6, 2026, then they can't go back further than that. That's how that kind of works. I follow the money. The VA has stated they expect more 100% and 70% ratings, and they're going to get it from mental health alone. They're going to get it from mental health alone. In my personal opinion. If you can. Now, another thing I think is going to happen, and I really do mean this, is I think that these changes, because they're so complex, are going to push people towards more claim companies, attorneys, DBQ people, and the like. And because you're going to have to, you're going to have somebody with skill and knowledge help you with these things. That's why I'm putting out the information. But if you do go to somebody for those kinds of things, make sure, like, if you have an attorney, make sure they have access to VBMS. Make sure that they do. Like, same thing with a VSO. Make sure that they have access to VBMS. If you're going to a DBQ place, I would want to know what their success rate is. If you're going to go to a claims company of some kind, at least pick somebody with some kind of skill. Do they work out of their basement, or do they do this, that, or the other? Do they have a high rise? Like, what do they have? Do they have skilled staff? Like, I want to know, because that's why, and I don't endorse anybody's anything, but if they don't have people that work directly for the VA that know how to do stuff, I don't know if I would go with them. And I'm just saying this because I know that people are going to gravitate towards these things. The more complex the system gets, the more that they will reach out to have people help them. So why reach out to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing versus people that do? If you're going to pay somebody for something, pay for skill. And I've always said that. So, and that's my little 2 cents on that topic. Yes. I'm looking at questions. Oh, man. There's a lot of side chat, so it's hard to find an actual question. How do you show treatment for tinnitus when there isn't a treatment for it? Fantastic question. What does the tinnitus do for you? Does it make it to where you have trouble hearing what people say? You might need hearing aids in order to increase the speech discrimination. Does it cause you to have depression and anxiety? If so, you should get treated for that. Like, it's very situational, but you need to keep them reported that they have that you have symptoms. Okay, you got to keep reporting that you have symptoms of something and that it just didn't go away. There's a lot of questions, not questions, just comments. Why not? Macross. If they don't give me what I want, I'm going to tell my mama. They don't want to tell my mama. Trust me. That's funny. Okay, JSMC. If you filed a claim, were denied prior to the change, but then file a supplemental, will they use the prior criteria that was in place when you were initially filed, or the new criteria? So if you file the supplemental claim before the change and you have a diagnosis before the change, then the historical criteria will go into effect. Scott, you can just ask the question. you don't have to say question. It's not like Twitch or something where you hit question and then it gets logged by a bot. Um, what was I looking for down here? I'm gonna be skipping questions, guys, because oh wait, let's go with Mr. Ray. Question: why aren't the TBI DBQs public facing since we're making all these changes? I, Mr. Ray, I honestly, that is a very good question. I don't know why. I don't know why hearing loss isn't. I don't know why TBI isn't, and I don't know why PTSD isn't. There's no real regulation that says that TBI has to be done by a VA provider. So I don't understand why. This might be one of those questions for Mr. Doug Collins, to be quite honest with you, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, OSA is going to get wiped out. The only way around it, as I understand it, is the veteran is unable to use a CPAP for medical. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I'm not weighing in on the changes yet because I don't fully know what they're going to be. I honestly don't. I don't know what they're going to be, and I don't want to start down that road until it's finalized. Once it's finalized, then we can adjust fire and adjust our tactics to get around, because the evidence is what's important. So as long as the evidence supports that you have something, organizing your evidence in such a way that it gives you the highest likelihood of success, that's what we're here for. We want to, that's what I'm putting out at the very least. Um, and if you guys want to talk about like law firms and stuff like that, that's fine. Um, Moderators, I know I have a do not solicit clause in here, but I'll let that slide. So please don't ding anybody for soliciting, because these are kind of times. Or yeah, the CivDiv has something, so does, uh there's a lot of different organizations out there that are pretty good, I guess. I'm not going to formally endorse anybody, but if people want to put out who, with the exception of VetCom, if anybody wants to put out any kind of like who they've had help with, I don't mind that. If you guys want to put posts on the channel, that's fine. So mods, I know I have that do not solicit thing, but you can bypass that for now. Let me see here. And this is true limitless boom. Sorry, I was going to go with limitless bottom. I don't know why. Some attorneys don't even want to pull information from VBMS for their clients. It sucks, but it's true. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because for them, they just want to take it to the board and let your claim soak for a year or two, and they get a bigger back pay because of it. It's kind of a crappy thing. Oh, David, that's a good question. David asks, can I ask what is with the exception to VetCom? Just curious. Okay, fantastic. It's because they piss me off. I keep getting their stupid, I get their ads on my channel, even whenever it's not on my main channel. Like, I have other YouTube accounts, right, for non-Raider HQ stuff, and I keep seeing their advertisements on my channel, and it pisses me off. And the reason why it upsets me is because they say things that are factually not accurate with how the process works. So I'm not making a complete statement about their company, but they're pissing me off with how I will block their ads on my channel. Then I have to block a different URL, then a different URL. It's like cancer. I'm trying to kill cancer at this point in time, and they're starting to upset me. I've even went onto their channel, put in their comments section that I respectfully asked to be removed from, if they can, I don't know if this is possible, from the advertisement thing, to say, hey, look, don't put my ads on this guy's thing. I don't know if that's true or not, or if YouTube just puts it on there, but I'm sick and tired of seeing their ads on my stuff, no matter what thing I've got going on. It just pisses me off. And when they say stuff that I know that is not factually true, which, and just for the sake of legality here, I know it's factually not true. They say that there's like special AI words that they say. There's no such thing. I swear to God, there is not. Like, I have deleted more videos talking about that company than I care to even imagine, because it's like, you know how you say something in a diary and burn it? That's my thing, to where I'm so just over it. Now, they could be the best people on the planet, but let me ask you this. If somebody says that they've got a 90-something% success rate, how the hell does that square with the fact that the VA doesn't even have a 90-something% success rate? How the hell are you saying that you have a 90-something% success rate that's higher than the VA's own personal error list? How the hell do you say that in good conscience? It makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So that math ain't mathin', because even the VA admits they get stuff wrong at least 7% of the time. Like, they have a 93% success rate or something like that. How can you beat that statistically? So, look, you guys do you, right? You're grown fucking adults. You can do whatever you want. But just hear me out when I get pissed off with logic and reason. Like, if you come at me with illogical things and you make statements like that, and the fact that they won't get their fucking ads off my thing, I'm a little raw about it. So to answer your question, they're the exception because of those three main reasons. That statistically, it's fucking possible for them to have a 97% success rate. But I digress. And you know what? If they want to, they can send me a nasty email. Here, I'm reading stuff. So I never broke the chain, always within 12 months. Higher level review deemed that the CMP exam was inadequate, so I was given another CMP exam, hence the 40. That might be... Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch your claim because you have too much to lose. At 40%. They like to take away 40%. Yeah. Oh, no, Mr. Ray. Oh, no. Jesus. You guys are getting me. No, well, okay, U.S. Army grunt. Gosh, I got to get down there to the bottom. U.S. Army grunt, you can, as long as it's for things that are not within the existing claim. You can file new claims for new things, and it won't interfere with anything. Oh man, you guys are gonna hit me with my... I'm already swearing, so I'm just openly swearing at this point in time, which I don't like doing that on my channel. This is meant for education purposes, but can you understand why that would frustrate me? It would be like taking your car to a mechanic and them saying, well, I've never officially worked as a mechanic before, but I know how the secret sauce to be able to fix your car better than what it is. Okay, what's the average for most mechanics doing things the right way? 95%. Okay, but you're an untrained person that is not licensed to do it, never did it before, but you have a 97% success rate? Huh. Okay. Okay. That tracks. Okay. Okay, we're just going to keep going. Oh, man. Okay. I filed for BDD for insomnia before I saw your H-Town comments. Okay, BDD for insomnia is fine. That's fine. It can only be granted directly if it manifests in service. So if you have a diagnosis of insomnia while in service for BDD, then you're fine. Okay? Okay. I'm just going to start drinking. It is Saturday, I think, somewhere. Okay. So actually, let me go back to this because I need to format my thoughts here. I would still continue on with the insomnia. I would like it to progress to something else. which is fine. Like I would like it to grow into something else. We call it like progression. It progress into something else, ideally, because insomnia is kind of one of those things where a lot of the symptoms, when the changes happen, if you do it under the new system, it won't hurt you very much. But anyway, I digress. So 6:30. Let me see here. So thank you for becoming a member. I already answered you two. Let's go with George. George, can a senior review officer override rater who asked for a CMP and medical opinion for PTSD when the veteran had ACE mental health exams? Okay. There's ACE mental health exams are excluded from being ACE exams. So them requesting new exams are appropriate because mental health claims can never be ACE. There has to be a face-to-face actual there has to be a face-to-face meeting. I went from step 4 to step 7 yesterday to the day. So thank you for the donation, number one, but I'm probably not saying things you like. But if you had an ACE exam for mental health, you are required to have a non-ACE exam. So them sending you back is part of the process. It is required. Jimmy Invictus. I was just awarded 100% P&T. Thank you. Yay. I turned 55 this month. My attorney wants to file for an earlier effective date. Won't that open my entire case up for reevaluation? It can. So if you have sketchy shit in your claim, and we're just swearing at this point in time, guys, I'm sorry. So if you have sketchy stuff in your claim, like sketchy ratings, things that you are concerned about, opening up your claim, it will not matter that you're 55. So the DRO has the power to actually go in and make adjustments for things they disagree with. Okay, but congratulations, Jimmy. How much earlier effective date are we talking about? If you're talking about 5 months or less, I might not touch it, to be quite honest with you. Because number two, I want to know what that earlier effective date, why they think you deserve an earlier effective date. Because look, attorneys are sometimes good at stuff, but if you're going to play around in the M21, you need a jiu-jitsu practitioner in there, because that attorney does not know how to play in that jungle. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. They don't understand it. Okay, so I have my spider sense is tingling that this might not be a good idea. Okay, that they need to, like, I would want to know everything involved with that, because show me where that, what was done wrong. I want to know what was done wrong. So that way I could go through the M21 manual, which is the exclusive thing that the DRO is going to be looking at, and why that clear and unmistakable error will be called. So I don't know, just my 2 cents on it. You don't have to listen to me. Why wouldn't the VA notify you of a rating change scheduler when it benefits the veteran? Brad. Okay. Cost around $100K because of a 22 year ago change that I knew nothing about. Guess I answered my own question. Yes, you did, Brad. Yes, you did. Why? Like, honest to God, Brad, like, hey, look, here, come closer to the screen. This is why I kind of started this channel, is because I started this channel for a couple of reasons. Like, I watched The Spiritual Wrestler. He was a raider, and he was talking about the system and whatnot. And honestly, it is mentally frustrating not to rate claims in which, the veteran messed up in or something like that. But it's frustrating because veterans, you don't know what you don't know. And the law is there to limit the amount of back pay we can give you. So if you're not a proactive veteran, nobody's chasing you down to hunt anything for anything. or else we'd all be assessed at discharge for our disabilities, and we would be given our disabilities at that time. They would be actively, like, if it was true that they were veteran centric, every single veteran would go through a med board when they discharged. It would be part of the standard discharge process. That's how it's done. As long as your character of discharge meets criteria, you should be given a med board, and we should be doing specifically and exactly what's needed to do to see if you have any permanent disabilities. Like, if the system worked as it should, that's it. So, Brad, it sucks. It's sad. I already answered this, David. I think I answered it in great detail. I hope I did. North Idaho guy, I hope you're doing better from your cardiac arrest. I really do. I'm sorry you went through that, man. The rater will see all that information. They'll see it. Sometimes they'll probably even, depending on if the cardiac arrest is found to be due to the hypertension, they'll solicit a claim from you. But yeah, it's good to just get it there of record, because it can be persuasive at times to help the rater understand that, oh shoot, this is serious. I'm sorry, Brad. I really am sorry. Because, okay, can I be honest with you guys just a little bit about this, a little bit more? Is that I've never seen an organization take credit for random acts, right? Like, if a bird lands on a certain spot in your yard, or like if the bird lands on your car, right? Like, it's like they take credit for things that are random acts. Your evidence dictates what it is the outcome is going to be. That's period. Now, if some of these companies have individuals that have understanding, knowledge, and they can help you organize your evidence in such a way that it actually factually has a higher percentage of, going through effectively. We mentioned a few things like certain, but some people don't, right? But when they win, whenever the claim wins because of the evidence, they take credit for it. But if it loses, then the VA gets the blame. Heads I win, tails you lose. That's what I dislike the most about that, is they take credit for situations like, hey, we did an increase. Okay, what did you do for the veteran? An increase is on rails. The evidence is reviewed. That's what it is. There's no real anything to talk about here. What did you do for the veteran? And what did the evidence do, and what did you do? I don't know, guys. I'm not trying to beat up on them, but I don't like that. Like, what competency did you bring to this equation? Where's your claim to fame? It weirds me out. Like, it's like the like, it's like the mechanic situation. Well, do you have any certifications? No. I've never worked as a mechanic before in my life, but trust me with your car. Okay, we took the battery out and put a new one in, and it started. Oh, well, good. You did that. You fixed that. No. It was the battery that was dead. Like, that's, I don't know. You guys are going to get me wild on this one. But that's why who is the veteran? No, I can't do it. Who is the veteran, and what did he do? What did he do? Come on. It's too easy. Come on. But yeah, so I don't know about that. I do too. I shit you not. Okay. Zero shits. I shit you not. I have blocked 15 fucking URLs for them. 15 at this point in time. Like, I am fucking sideways about this. Like, I don't have this problem with anything else. But I just, I shouldn't have to fucking do 15 URLs to block them. I should be able to just go fucking stop. Like cease and desist at this point in time. Because here's my thing. The more I see that their advertisements are on my videos, the more that makes me feel like I have free reign to start talking shit. And they don't want me seriously leaning into fucking talking shit about their thing because I will itemize it. I will break it the fuck down as to what my complaints are with them in real time. Like, I'm hoping that we can come to a gentleman's agreement about this and that they don't fucking talk to me and I don't talk about them. But they keep their shit on my fucking videos. I'm going to lose my mind. Look, and I don't have like, look, I just want to fade to black with them. I just want nothing to do with them. Right. And I will talk favorably about other places. Right. Like Mr. Dwayne Kimball. He has his own thing going on. But guess what? He is a certified retired VA Raider. That brings something to the table. Right. I'm not promoting his thing. I'm neutral with him. But I'm saying I got no shame in his game because he actually, whenever I'm talking with him, I'm like, all right, man, cool. We're vibing, right? Like we got our stuff. You got to show me that you worked there, that you at least know what you're fucking talking about. And with the attorneys, I'm more pissed off with the attorneys than I am anybody else because they do that thing that was brought up in the prior question where they don't even pull your records. They just do this automatic higher level review nonsense. And then whenever it goes poorly for the veteran, then they pivot to the board. And it's like, why don't we fix this at the lowest level if we can for the veteran? Why don't we do that? Why do we have to make a veteran wait 2 years to get an outcome if we don't have to? And I'm frustrated at them for that. Doc, what's the question? You know, I got filter it if you need to, Doc, but help me out here, Doc. I'm going to answer a couple of these real quick. So I got denied for OSA, did get my positive medical opinion that said it was more likely and not secondary to deviated septum. Problem is I have okay. Deviated septum service connected 7 days prior. Should I go higher level review or supplemental claim? I also noticed I have a lot of mixed effective dates on my other 5 approved claims that I did. Ooh, okay. This has a lot. This is very busy. Palos Rivera. Okay. So my advice on this would be if you have a positive deviated septum medical opinion, is deviated septum granted? If it is, then you should be automatically secondaried. Which is fine. I think that you could do a supplemental claim. Look, if the deviated septum is not service connected, I would try service connecting the deviated septum separately in a vacuum. Just do that. And once you can get that service connected, then I would do a supplemental claim to service connect it. If the deviated septum is already, if it's already service connected, then, oh my gosh, what's going on in the chat, guys? Calm down. If it's already service connected, then I might do a higher level review. I hope that conveys what's kind of going on with that. And then we got $5 for the curse jar. Thank you. I need other people to pay my curse jar money because I get so pissed off. And then thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate it. TRT for life, 605. So let me see here. Yes, I am saying it's personal. It pisses me off, right? Because at this point in time, then I went on there. I'm going to start emailing them if I see it again, or if people report that they see it on my channel, right? Because I, if it's possible, I mean, there might be a thing where YouTube can't control it, and I just need them to tell me that. And then I'm just going to say, please stop. Um, let me see here. Da, 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 da. And John Michaels, um, you know what, John? Everybody, I need you to I don't know how to say this, but I actually agree with John on this one. I agree with John 100%. If you have a claims company that has built in medical opinions, that's sketchy as all get out, because that's not you going to somebody and having them fill it out and then them determining, uh, zombie, watch yourself. But John Michaels is actually right on this one. Like, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, me and John Michaels are standing side by side on this. I do not agree that you should have a built-in full service thing. If you have a claims company that helps you organize your evidence, fair enough. They kind of tell you, here's the 38 CFRs, here's the so and so. This is how, like, as long as they're just representing the evidence as facts, fair enough. But if they have a built-in DBQ portion to it, then that kind of scares me a little bit, because then it's like you're paying for a specific outcome that is preconceived notion. Like, I'm a pogue. Yes. Sorry, that was very random. But so yeah, so I don't, like, we see that alleged um claims company with the built-in medical providers that are currently in litigation, you know, I don't even want to say their name, but no, first time ever John Michaels and I just agreed. So, yeah, the sky is falling indeed. Um da, 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 da. Big Daddy, I'm not sure why it's so difficult for the VA to get deck logs for ballistic submarines that were stationed in Guam from 1979 to 1980. Same for the sub tender deck logs. Well, actually, I kind of know. So there's a Blue Water Navy team. There's a nautical team that reviews and gets deck logs. So you kind of, if your VSR doesn't know to contact them or organize them, then they won't pull them. So this might be the VSR doesn't know to contact the special team to do that. Not every VSR has access to this. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So this is, to be quite honest with you, this is something that should be reported in their internal process, so that way SMEs, subject matter experts, can pull those records. If that's not done, that might be a good reason why it's so hard to get those. Oh, David, I cuss all the time. Like, I cuss, like, you should go over and watch me on H Town Vets podcast. Like, I'm over there like almost every night, and I am just full filters off. I mean, yeah, no, I'll blow your hair back with how bad I swear. It's bad. It's so bad. Like, I try to censor myself to a great degree. Um Let me scroll down here. But yeah, I am a Pogue. 68 Papa. Pogue. John Michaels. Oh man, you're hilarious, dude. I know we don't agree a lot of the times, but you are funny, man. Let's see here. I'm just scrolling down through questions right now. This is what I look like 90% of the time whenever I'm on H Town's podcast. And this is it right here. This is he knows he's watched it. He's watched it. I like to keep this like family friendly typically. To be quite honest with you, because it's most like the live streams are a little bit different, but the videos I like to keep them very concise and very, like honest to God without the less swearing. Zombie question: what is your other channel? Do you have a gaming channel? I would definitely subscribe to watch your videos. I don't. I mean, I do play video games. I am a nerd. But the After Dark, like some people ask me that. They're like, why did you call it Raider HQ After Dark? And it's because this is typically done after hours, right? Yeah, yeah, 66 Loves got it. The raunchier the Raider after it gets later. But no, I'm thinking I might actually create a channel in the future because after retirement, there might be a accredited claims agent. I don't know, thing that I do. I haven't decided what the future holds, but there might be something like that. Now I might create a separate channel for it that's not associated with this because I'm trying to keep Raider HQ After Dark with the least amount of influence. Like I don't want to be influenced by people. That's why it pisses me off that Vetcom does their advertisement. Well, that YouTube puts Vetcom's advertisements on my channel. I don't know if Vetcom has any control over it. But that's why it pisses me off so much, is because the only thing that I'm open to is coffee related kind of sponsorships. Just because coffee has nothing to do with the rating stuff. So people can't like call in my bias if I have a coffee person. I'm not gonna, Mr. Rodrig, I'm not gonna post that one. So Q of Wands, I had an ace for PTSD. Is that an error? It can be, yes. It's an insufficient examination. Like, look here, I'll pull up something here. I'll pull up the M21. Nope, hold on. Since you guys have talked about it, we'll go with ace. Because somebody said that mental health can be ace, and I was like, that's not the way that happens. Acceptable clinical evidence. Okay. So let me share my screen. I've got to go down here and I've got to share my screen. We'll share it. Okay. So, okay, I've got to remove that, add that. So if you guys can see here, it says that the ACE process is not available for the following categories of examinations. So BDD claims, you can't have an ACE exam. You got to actually attend. General medical exams, these are exams that are done within 1 year following your release from active duty. They cannot be ACE. You have to physically attend. The initial and review for TBI brain injuries and any mental health examinations cannot be ACE. They just cannot be, evidenced by M21 412A 4B. So that's why. So it's not the claim processors. So, and this is the other thing where we were talking about ACE examinations. Is it says for any contention or examination type that is not prohibited from being completed via ACE, the claims processors must indicate that in the exam request that the contention is eligible for ACE. So a lot of you say, well, why did I get an ACE exam? Well, that's because the VSRs are forced to do it for anything that's not an exception. These are the exceptions right here. They're the exceptions. So it is technically an error. Technically. What is what the hell? What's with the questions? But anyway, that hopefully that answered your question, Queen of Wands. I want to say Queen of Wands. I think Q of Wands. Sketchyshit.com. That gave me the giggles. So let's get back on topic a little bit. I know I got off topic here, but I want to I think it's nice that we kind of made it a little bit more lighthearted because we are still talking about the upcoming VASRD changes. So as long as everybody understands to file a claim before the changes and to have evidence of a diagnosis before the changes go into effect, which means starting today. Like if I were you and if I were filing a claim for tinnitus, sleep apnea, and or mental health, I would start getting treatment, start organizing my evidence today because we do not know when they will drop. We also don't know what they're going to be like when they do drop. We kind of have a hint, but this administration can, the Dougie can change his mind about what he wants to implement. He is not required by any means, way, shape, or form to actually, that's a tough one. By any means to actually uphold what was promoted to be put out. They could adjust it if they wanted to. Ken, can you explain the difference between a chronic condition and a permanent condition? So it's for VA purposes. So a chronic condition is something that lasts 6 months or more. Typically not likely to change. A permanent condition, permanency is only associated with 38 CFR 3.309A. Those are considered chronic conditions that are permanent in nature, like diabetes. Like a broken bone. If you broke your bone, there is no amount of physical therapy that will unbreak that bone. You have historically broken it. Diabetes is a chronic, permanent condition, right? There's some things that are on there like until you die from it. Arthritis is a permanent condition. Yeah. There are they're permanent until medically you have it removed from your body. So like if you had arthritis in your hip and you got a total hip replacement, then you got it removed, like medically removed from your body, but it's considered a permanent condition unless you have some kind of medical intervention that removes that condition. So does that make sense? It's probably hard to understand that, but they're sometimes interchangeable, but yeah. So probably a basic skill question. What's the best way to find correlating M21 to the 38 CFR? So this is going to be challenging, Kevin. It has to do with trial and error. So you've got to research things, which will be very slow at first. So I would start with the M21 manual first, because oftentimes it will report 38 CFRs within it. Okay. So if I had to advise you on something, like when you go down here, you'll see different entries here for manual references. But it also will indicate a lot of the time what the 38 CFR is associated with these conditions. So start in the M21 and then branch out. Okay, Kevin? That's probably my best advice on that. Now, I have talked to Dr. Bahar. I don't know how to say his name. I have actually talked to him, and I don't have anything negative to say, is what I'm going to probably go with on that, because I don't endorse people. I try not to, at least. No way. Good Lord. No, thank you. No. Uh, let me keep going here. Oh, Sam's, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Always, you know, always welcome. Never required, guys. Like donations here are not required to get information. Um, I'm trying to scroll down here. MCM says the same can be said for VSOs, but dang, I do a lot of looking around for stuff. I send stuff. Yeah, and MCM, look, MCM, if you don't know, she's a VSO. So we try not to beat up on VSOs because, especially MCM, because you know what? She's trying. She's trying to learn more than just the average person pushing pushing papers that they don't understand. MCM has my utmost respect because she is trying to learn how the system works. And MCM, I know that this was a earlier comment, but what did you think of those training materials that I sent you? Did you find those okay? Were those good? Let me know in the chat. Let's keep going. 68 Papa, radiology tech. That's where I started my no, MCM, I'm saying that she's good. Like has my respect because a lot of VSOs do not and will not try to become better at their job. They do just enough. And that I have a disdain for that. I have a disdain for doing just enough. I like it when people want to do more. But motherfucker, I can't even do it. Hold on. Son of a bitch. What are you doing? Sorry. You piece of shit. Okay, so oof. I mean, I don't want to put up any more of their stuff, but yeah, like I said, man, if you're gonna go to somebody and you're gonna pay somebody to do something for you, I want to see their skill. If it's an attorney, I want to know how many of these types of claims they've adjudicated or helped litigate in a way. If they are a company like a claims company, what secret sauce do you have? What's your claim to fame? What do you have that the others don't? What are you bringing to the equation? And don't say smarts or I can read because everybody can read, right? Like in this game, everybody can read. I can read, you can read, we can all read, hopefully. It just pisses me off. Okay. Yes, and Ken, you make a very good point here is that you don't have to have anybody help you. But here's the thing. Sometimes your claims are challenging. And I don't shame anybody for trying to seek out guidance and help whenever something's challenging, especially whenever they change the way things are done. Because what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow because of something that they do to change something. And that is just, that's a fact of this particular thing. Oh wow. And then I think I got TR. Oh, yeah, I already did this one. Okay. And Queen of Wands, like this is a very common thing, right? Like this is a very common thing where you have to fire your attorney because they drag it on so much and it's like they ignore you until it's time. And I'm not a fan of that, because yes, you will get back pay potentially if you win. But I would rather spend the money in the here and now than spend it 2 years from now, right? Like that 2-year money mark, I mean, hopefully not true, but I might not be here in 2 years, like I just and Joseph, I might have skipped your question because I am skipping questions. Let me see here. Let me find Let me find Joseph's question if I can. I might not be able to find it. Da, 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 da. All right. I mean, I am like 30 minutes or 20 minutes behind, so I don't know. I am definitely skipping questions, yes, because there's a lot of side talk, so it's hard to tell who's doing what. Let me see here. Um, I will say this though. Even though this is true that he got out 20 years ago, he still has relevancy because he's keeping up on reviewing the process. Like he knows how to review stuff. I do have respect for him because he we're it takes him a little bit longer to kind of absorb the stuff just because of that gap there, but he has good instincts, so I do like his stuff. um let me see here if I can find Joseph's question. And yes, John, I was a pogue. And many law firms work on contingency. The longer the claim cooks, the more they make. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is definitely true. They get that percentage, and a percentage of a large, the longer it soaks. I think of it like the Deadliest Catch, where the crab pots soak for longer and they get a bigger haul. That's what they look like to me, and it weirds me out. Uh, well, Joseph, person other than Grunt. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, The Real Dark. Thank you for your donation. Filed the wrong thing and, of course, denied, but then filed the right thing. Does that old evidence hurt your new claim? No, it doesn't. So, a lot of people have this misunderstanding that if they say, hey, look, I claimed it directly, and then whenever I try to claim it secondary, just as an example, they think that the first time that you claimed it directly somehow hurt your claim. And that's not the way it is. You have to think about it once again like a mechanic. My car won't start. You know, I'll check the battery first. Is it due to the battery? No, it's not due to the battery. Okay, then you move on to the next thing. Okay, is it due to the starter? No, it's not due to the starter. Is it due to there being no gas in the gas tank? Like you have to think about the theories like that. Okay. Um, in that it doesn't hurt anything. It's just like, do you think it's caused by this? No, I don't. Okay, next. Do you think it's caused by this? No. Okay, then. So it's not bad. Um, okay, I'm putting it up here just to support the Broncos for this one. I'm not a big Broncos fan, but let's just support the Broncos. They need all the help they can get. Brad. Oh no. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. That is truly funny. Ugh. John Michaels, he just might collaborate if the money is right. It's not like he's against receiving money from people. Actually, I've had offers to collaborate for quite a bit of money, and I've turned them down. Not like with people like YouTubers or anything like that, because I don't believe in charging people for that. But with like organizations wanting to collaborate with me, so I say their name. So no, I have no desire to do that, John Michaels, and I have turned down a considerable amount of money. I think I told MCM kind of what we were looking at towards that. Please don't say the amount, but it would be significant. Um, Boom nailed it. Thanks for answering all of my BDD stuff more soon. Okay. Um, Yeah, maybe it's just pissing me off more and more and more and more and more. Like I don't like it. I don't want to be associated with them. John Michaels, you go. Yeah, you know what? Let's use your powers for good, John Michaels. You go over there to VetCom and you harass the shit out of them. Just, just do your thing over there. They take money from people. They take money all day from people. That's all they do is take money from people. Go get them, John Michaels. Uh, Utsu Utsupi. Raider, what should I tell the DRO? I was denied service connection for heart failure, cardiomyopathy. Findings say that I have qualifying in-service event. They also claim I was a no-show, even though I did go to my exam. That's it right there. I had good. I attended the exam. I don't understand why they didn't. I have a desire to want to attend the exam. Okay. So that's how you go again. How do raters view private DBQ and Nexus letters, just out of curiosity? Well, they have to view them through a authenticity and credibility review. So there's a series of like check boxes that they have to do. Are all the required signature items for the examiner's signature on there? Yes or no? Is the person who filled it out a qualified clinician to actually fill out the DBQ? Yes or no? Is there like any kind of conflicting medical evidence on the DBQ? Yes or no? Is the DBQ substantially complete? Yes or no? Like, is there any kind of issues with credibility? Is the 100-mile rule? Is there any issues of fraud that seem to be apparent? So that's kind of what they look for. There's authenticity and credibility that is reviewed for. But yeah. Da, da, da. I'm gonna let you guys do what you want to do, but just know that I do flag that I do that already. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to do that, yeah, that's on you. Fire for effect. Hello. Where's John? That's funny. John, use your powers for good, man. I'm looking for the other John. That John question. Ooh, I'll let John just talk about that. Sorry, I'm scrolling down. I need more than 4 people. Like I had to shut down my email. I had to shut it down. Like I think I've got over like 1,200 emails in there. It's ridiculous. Like I can't answer them all. It's unreasonable. Like, and I'm sorry I can't, guys. I really am sorry, but I literally cannot answer them all. Let's go for some coffee. I need some coffee. And thank you, Pocus, for doing this. I appreciate this. And yes, John Michaels has got me dead to rights on this one. I will sell out for coffee endorsements. Yes, I will. And we can meet out in the parking lot if you disagree with me on this topic, because I do what I want. E4 Mafia. I do what I want. Jimmy Invictus. Raider, does the VA keep the disability process as opaque as possible on purpose? Law school is less Byzantine? Okay. They don't keep it like, okay. It's not, in my opinion, intentionally opaque. What it is it's intentionally a series of run-on sentences that are compounded on top of each other, that as a new sentence comes, it sometimes cancels out the old sentence. And it's just, it's not that they update the system. Like when they make changes, they don't review for what those changes, like the cascading effects of those changes. Imagine being in a bathtub that's half full and just pushing off both ways and the water starting to slosh both ways. It gets out of control real quick. Okay. So sometimes you'll have these changes and then they'll fuck up something else. And then like they have to go and change that. And then when they change that, they have zero foresight. So they don't look to see what'll happen with the changes. They just say, this sounds really good. And then what'll happen is it'll get put into practice, and then the thing breaks the entire fucking system every 2 minutes, and then they've got to go back and change what they changed. That that is the most maddening thing about working in claims processing is you will have QRT interpret things and it won't be right. Like one of the things that I pride myself on is looking ahead, looking as far down as I can, going, okay, what do I think that the end product of this change is going to be? Like, okay, I understand that that's what they're saying. And they get mad at me because they're like, okay, we're telling you to do this. You're doing something else. I'm like, yeah, because you'll get there in 2 weeks, you will get to where I'm at. And it frustrates them. But they've started listening because I'm like, it'll actually have to end this way because yes, you want to change this, but when you change this, it causes these other things to be in flux or at issue. And somebody will notice that sooner than later. It's just frustrating, man. If I'm 100% PNT, but just got notified I have an upcoming CMP exam, can that hurt me in any way or could it be benefit to me? Did you solicit this claim? So because you might have left, I don't know. If you didn't solicit this claim and you're 100% PNT and somebody just made up a claim for you, this is bad. It's bad, and it's bad depending on what your kind of like what the condition is that's going for an exam. Them randomly generating claims on your behalf is not a good thing at all. If you did a claim and you've got a CMP exam coming up, I did a video on this topic talking about what's the lowest likelihood of having it affect your total and permanent status. If it's just a brand new claim that's independent of everything else, then it should be fine. If it's something that is secondary to something else, it could actually cause some problems. So this is not ideal, to say the least. I would call up somebody and figure out why that claim is there if you had nothing to do with it and see if you can get out of it. Like, I don't know, just me, but that's one of the best benefits from the working as a rater has been working from home. Like it is the best thing ever. Working from home, you're like statistically, I know that people say some stuff of like working in the office is more productive. Bull fucking shit. I mean, bull fucking shit with evidence to back it up for years. Like that's the stupidest fucking statement I've ever heard. Because they can't ever prove it, right? Because if they could prove that it was more advantageous to work from the office, then that's the first evidence that they would have shown in that thing. But let me tell you, 10 to 20% in most cases, higher production levels with lower errors when you work from home. It's a fact. It's a true story. But they'll say like, "Oh no, we got to have butts in, because we can't have you at the Bahamas." They monitor every single keystroke that's ever done. They know when you finish a claim, down to the millisecond. They know how long you took in here. They know what program you were in at this time. There is no bullshitting the process. Like it's under. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Douglas. I apologize. It's kind of it's a night for me. But there's no way to get around, like, if you're in the Bahamas, you're in the Bahamas working. Like, you still have to be working. It just drives me nuts. Oh, profile picture. Nobody uses a profile picture. Michael. Writer, as a result of a higher level review mental health claim, was scheduled for a CMP exam, which was told I don't need to be present for. Okay, they're looking for a medical opinion. So that's for a medical opinion. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. Like, I want this to be open to everybody. That's why I don't lock any. That's why I don't, and I don't mind if other people do this. I don't lock any special content behind membership. Like, if you guys become members, it's because you want to support the channel and you want to get the message out there. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to just see. Hold on. Okay, no, I didn't. I was just awarded PNT, but it looks like some of my denials are at CPA. Oh, then attend them. It should be fine. Like, hopefully it will be fine. Um, yeah, that's my final answer on it. And thank you for the donation for the coffee fund. The Flying Irishman out of nowhere. I'm currently rated 30% for BC. I couldn't describe my condition during the CMP exam. I've been in treatment for 4 years and file now or wait. Is that back condition? No. What is BC? I don't know what BC is, but now you're gonna make me think about this. I'm gonna try to think about everything. Um, wow, that's funny. Um, no, it's not, because I'm trying to think of the 30s for uh it's not bilateral. So no, for BC. It says right here. It says BC for BC. I'm trying to think. It's an abbreviation for no. It's of a specific condition. Like bilateral, I don't know what. But anyway, treatment for 4 years should be able to show an increase for whatever you're talking about. I would double check the 38 CFR Part 4 for your condition. And bone cancer, is that what we're in for? But if you were in for, if it was cancer, then it would be 100%. I don't know. I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know. But I digress. Yeah, I was thinking back condition 30%, but there is no lumbar. Well, I guess there is, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. Oh, thank you, Douglas. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot. Hi, James. How hard is it to get to 100% for chronic fatigue? Oh shit! Do you have a unicorn, James? Like, how hard is it to become 100% for chronic fatigue? I've never rated it, and I've never seen it rated. I mean, that's not a. It's hard. I'm going to say it's hard because let me see here. Let me just go to the chronic fatigue. 6354. So for 6354, 100% is near constant to so severe as to restrict routine daily activities almost completely, and which may occasionally preclude self-care. So that is so damn challenging that you basically have to be bedbound. And you have to somehow medically prove all of that. So it's very challenging in that respect to medically prove it. to the CMP examiner. So it's not to say it's not possible, but you literally, yeah, it's impossible for most is probably the best way to say it. Um, it's challenging. I've never like it's there just out of the freak of nature of it. But a lot of times what can happen is that lack of that bed-bound status can be better explained by another disability. So that's why a lot of people don't actually aren't able to get there. So exceedingly challenging. You'd have a better chance with mental health. And about the BC portion, any cancer would be 100% unless we're talking about residuals, and then it could be potentially 30%. But bone cancer residuals and breast cancer residuals, challenging. So I don't know. It depends. Da, 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 da. If chronic fatigue is related to muck-me, oftentimes chronic fatigue has to be a diagnosis of exclusion. So we have to figure out, like, you can't, like, if you have sleep apnea, then your fatigue could be better explained by the sleep apnea than it could be by being chronic fatigue in and of itself. Chronic fatigue is very challenging to get diagnosed, number one, and to get a accurate uh, assessment by a CMP examiner. More evidence that you have medically, the better. Okay, I can't say that enough. Yeah, a unicorn and a rabbit's foot. Yeah, it's it's not impossible, right? Like nothing is ever impossible. I mean, God rest his soul, but I mean, you can be rated for it, but not 100%. I mean, like that means that you just literally can't do anything. It's very challenging, guys. Um, occupational therapy is useful as like I would consider like a tier 3 level of evidence, tier 1 being the best, tier 3 being, you know, I'm just making these up as I go, but like a tier 4 would be your statements. A tier 3 would be an occupational therapy assessment. A tier 2 would be like uh, a medical doctor that doesn't see you very often, but they're still a medical doctor. And then tier 1 is like a medical doctor that has seen you for a very long time. You've got entrenched treatment that, you know, is almost irrefutable, you know, because of how much treatment you had. But yeah, so there's a lot of tests for chronic fatigue syndrome that we've got to be able to rule everything else out. So, yeah. Well, I'll tell you though, you just need mild sleep apnea. The how severe it is doesn't matter. Like as long as you get to mild sleep apnea, you have sleep apnea. That's what that means. So you don't have to have severe in order to get it service connected. An at-home test like that should be good enough to get you on the board. What makes 50-50 is currently is the CPAP prescription, not compliance even. It's just the CPAP prescription. Now, oh man, we're almost at 2 hours, and my wife is calling about dinner. So we will have to wrap this up, guys, here in just a minute or two. So let me go back on the theme, the topic of what we were talking about here is the changes to the VASRD. So I'm going to reiterate this before we go. If you are somebody that is trying to get tinnitus and sleep apnea service connected to be grandfathered into the historical criteria, because it's more advantageous to do so. So, the things that you need to do is you need to gather evidence to show chronicity of the condition, current evidence, and file a claim before, or actually, I should say, gather evidence to show chronicity and a current diagnosis and file a claim before the changes drop, like before they're implemented. Now, as I figure out when those changes will go into effect, I might leak them to you unofficially. I might just be talking to somebody, or maybe MCM finds out about when they're supposed to be leaking, and maybe that just gets posted on a forum post. Who knows? I don't know. But if I can find out when those changes are scheduled to go live and go hot before they are notified, before you're notified, if I can find that information out, I'll let you know. Okay. But you guys need to gather evidence and file the claim before the changes take effect. And I do not think that those changes will all drop at the same time based upon how logistically challenging it will be to implement the changes for tinnitus versus the mental health ones. Now, I excluded mental health out of this conversation because I think that the changes for mental health, and this is just my opinion, if you're somebody that is able to articulate your symptoms, the changes are the best thing that have ever happened to you. Why do I say that? Because you no longer have to be a paranoid schizophrenic level symptoms to become 100% for mental health under the new changes. The new changes allow you to be just you in your day-to-day life, sick, and you can be like 30% of the time type situation and still be at 100%. So it opens the door for veterans to get 100% for their mental health and subsequently SMC S1, special monthly compensation housebound status. That's a big deal, guys, because if you're like 90% and you go into 100%, that's like a $1,300 difference. If you add on SMCS1 because you have one single disability at 100% mental health, and you get the SMC, that's an additional like $400, $450 on top of the $1,300. And it's legitimate. Like if your mental health is legitimately at 100% per the new rating scheduler, and you become 100% and you've got other disabilities that when combined equal 60%, that's an additional $400. Senior Blues, technically we do. Technically. Yeah. So guys, I personally, now I know that the CivDiv and Veterans InfoTap have talked about it, and I respect their opinions on this, right? Because I just do. I respect their opinions on it. But from a rating standpoint, the new guidelines, as I have read them, now keep in mind, I'm going to restate this. We do not know what the final product will look like. But if the projected product goes into effect, then veterans like myself that are articulate can potentially become 100% for less symptoms than they now require to be 70%. It's insanity. So, okay. And so, guys, the mental health changes, I personally like them because the rater will have a lot more say in it. It will be based upon your subjective statements and not about whether or not you meet this weird ass. Does he have circumlocutory speech patterns? Like, no, you don't have to go in disheveled to your meeting. You can just be like, let's say you've got agoraphobia. Well, my agoraphobia causes me to not leave the house, which impairs my ability to have my social sphere. Well, how often does that happen for you? 90% of the time. Oh, well, that's above 25 to 30% of the time. So, okay, you're at stage 4, yada yada. You're at 100% in one category. You become 100%. That's the way that works. It's weird. MCM, I honestly predict that. Now, the part about it that I caveat that every single time and say veterans who are articulate, because I think it is going to be harmful to veterans that minimize their symptoms, that don't talk about their symptoms. It will be hurtful towards them because they will be lower if they're not an accurate reporter or a good reporter or a forthcoming reporter of their symptoms, then they'll be lowballed. And that's not, safety nets should be there to protect those that don't communicate well. And this change doesn't have it, but it can help those that are good at communicating. Yeah, most of us with PTSD. Yeah. get so effective with fatty liver. Jeez, you guys are killing me. Knock it off. Hold on. Oh, sorry, James. I think I skipped a few people. Do you need a law firm to help fight for SMC pay? Not okay. This is going to be my opinion. Okay. Now, oftentimes I will speak with authority on certain things. This next statement will be just my opinion. Assign no specific value to my opinion more so than your own. Okay. Anything above L or above, so aid in attendance and higher, I might go the attorney route. Just because it's based upon meeting a certain kind of criteria, and you've got to prove that. And if you just monkey around yourself trying to prove it, you might not do it. So an attorney above L and above, aid in attendance and above, and maybe even going to the BVA might help, because currently the VBA is not doing well with SMC at the L and above levels. S1 is easy because it's based upon criteria. Do you have 100%? Yes. Do you have 60% combined? Yes. It's an automatic thing. It automatically gets awarded. So there's not much thinking involved or interpretation involved by the actual rater. But when you get higher than that, you've got multiple thresholds that need to, like, you have to have co-signers on it. It's a very in-depth process, and it can be sometimes bias. So yes, I might have anything above aid in attendance. So L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, those type things. James, I'm not sure whether you saw my question. I have hard of hearing, and I'm not sure. Did you answer it? Did I answer it? Well, let's go through here and stop. James, if you can hear me, stop donating, please. I will just answer your questions. So I answered, how hard is it to get chronic fatigue? It's very, very challenging at 100%. Very challenging. James, do I need a law firm to help fight for SMC pay? I think L and above, yes. For aid and attendance and above. I answered, is an occupational therapist assessment useful? Not so much. It's not the same as a doctor, so it is not very helpful. You need a doctor to weigh in on that. R. King Sixburg, R is hard because you have to be functional loss type situation for that mostly. And then James, I'm not sure whether you saw, yeah, okay. Do you need a law firm to help fight SMC pay? If it's K, no. If it's S1, no. If it's L or higher than that, yes. So I hope that answered your question, James. I want to make sure that I got to it, man. But Flying Irishman, you too. You got to stop donating, man. Sorry, it was for PTSD. The super chat is hard to type in. Oh, I apologize, man. Let me see here. What was your question? I think I'm having a stroke. I don't remember your question. The Flying Dutchman. You're gonna make me review it. Can you just type the question back into the chat, the Flying Dutchman, and I'll catch it and answer it? Oh, is it the BC one? Is it the BC one? Hold on, let me scroll up here. Well, is it a... I want to make sure I answer your question. I don't know. Just type it again if you could, the Flying Dutchman, and I'll answer it before I log off. We must know what the BC stands for. It was at the BC one. I just don't remember what the question was. And it's hard for me to review them going up. Let me, because there's like 1,000 questions on here. I'll try to scroll up. The Flying Dutchman. Yeah. Okay, so let's go up here. I'm gonna try. Everybody just calm down. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna get to the bottom of this Scooby-Doo mystery. Yeah, no, it's just silence here. So I just gotta like fill the silence. I'm scrolling up. I mean, there's just question after question after question, and I might miss it. So I can't find it. And I apologize. The Flying Irishman. Sorry. My brain is turned off. So the Flying Irishman. Please let me know what the question is. Where can I have my personal statements reviewed? I mean, anybody, a VSO, an attorney, something like that can do it. I mean, I can't do it. But you might be able to have somebody that. Can I control F? Hold on. Oh no, it does not like that. No, it does not like that at all. Nope, we're not doing that. Nope, October 25. Streamlabs does not like that. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, I do have to take off now. Here, how about this? The Flying Irishman. Post your question on the live stream's comments, and I will answer it in the live stream's comments. Oh no, it does not like Control F and name. It doesn't like that at all. Like it freaks out on my system. But the Flying Irishman, put your question in the comments section of this video as soon as I turn it off here, and let me know. But other than that, guys, thank you all so much for showing up tonight. I will keep you guys updated with the VASRD changes. I will maybe drop some hints as to when these are going to be falling, like when they're actually going to be coming out. Also, if you can find coffee endorsements, yeah, you will gain brownie points with me. But yeah, other than that, have a good night. I'm going to try to do more videos. We're trying to see where my video list is. We're going to be doing the knee. We're going to be trying to hopefully get to some of the missed questions historically. I'm going to try to, yes, and that's right. I'm going to try to keep the potty mouth to a minimum during the next live. I apologize. I'm going to probably be swearing over on H-Town Vets. So if you haven't already, go over to H-Town Vet, go over to the Salty Old Marine, and go over to the Salty Marines channels. Give them a watch, give them a chance, and if you like them, subscribe to them. And if you like me, subscribe to me. But anyway, guys, that's about all I got for you tonight. Raider and Luna out.